Welcome to the Fantasy Nook. Where. Woo, woo, woo,
Whoa, whoa,
woo.
whoa. I'm Ari,
And I'm Chelsea.
and we love talking about books.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and today,
Today, we're gonna talk about probably my favorite series this year.
that's pretty big.
Pretty big.
Pretty
And probably one of my top favorite series ever. I don't know where it would place because
big.
I haven't thought about it and I don't want to think about it right now. But
Okay. That's very fair. That's
because that's
fair.
gonna stress me out.
No, yeah, that's valid. That's all right.
But it is really popular on TikTok right now. The series is called the Suneater series, and the first book is called Empire of Silence.
Ooh, okay.
This series, I told you about it while I was reading it.
I think you did.
I am not exaggerating when I say I could not participate as a human being in life
Ooh.
until that series was over. When I say I could barely think about breathing, I couldn't eat, I couldn't function properly as a human, I couldn't talk to people. I was literally avoiding everyone while reading the series. All I wanted to do
Hmm.
was finish the series. It's that good.
Wow.
Am I hyping it up for you?
Yeah, you are hyping it up. I'm like,
It,
where's my cabin? Where can I go read?
okay. It
Okay. Was this is like first book feeling this, or throughout the whole series, you were like,
whole
I need to finish.
series.
Oh,
Every book just kept getting better.
whoa. Okay.
Crazy, right?
Crazy.
Um, Empire of Silence is a space opera. It is written memoir style. Do you understand what that means?
Like in memory of someone, like someone, like it's
So, memoir style, first person account, where the character is basically writing things that have already happened.
okay. Ooh,
And
okay.
you know, actually, I've just thought about this. You know what I
Hmm.
would like to do? I would like to read the first sentence of this series because it's so epic and it reels you in immediately.
Okay.
Just like, wow, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna read the first paragraph.
Okay.
Okay,
First book.
I'm not even sure if this is right. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me see if I can get it on my Kindle and make
Hmm.
sure. I have it on Audible and I could play it, but I don't know if that would cause an issue.
Right. Okay. And this is written by a man, right?
Written by a man.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay, this first paragraph, are we ready for this?
Hmm.
This is like literally what it was like. This is what made me want to read the book because somebody did a TikTok review and they
Hmm.
read this part and I was like, oh my God. Okay, here it is. Light. The light of that murdered sun still burns me. I see it through my eyelids, blazing out of history from that bloody day, hinting at fires indescribable. It is like something holy, as if it were the light of God's own heaven that burned the world and billions of lives with it. I carry that light always, seared into the back of my mind. I make no excuses, no denials, no apologies for what I have done. I know what I am.
Whoa.
Crazy, right?
That's
Doesn't that like immediate,
that
right?
really well written. Just like the first.
Or that's the first
Wow.
paragraph. Because the first line, it's only one word. It's light.
Kind of awesome because it's called the Sun Eater series,
Series.
right? Okay.
Basically, in the beginning of the book, he basically states everything that he done's wrong. And it literally in the first like chapter, he's
So
like,
it's not like
I blew
it's
up a
not
sun and people died.
wow, okay.
And this is where the story began.
Whoa.
Yeah. So you
Okay.
know from the memoir style that he's writing from himself. So you know it's gonna be biased. and you know it's going to be pomp and circumstance, right?
Right.
So everything's a little more like, I guess, what's it called? Exaggerated, dramatic.
Dramatic.
Everything's just a little more dramatic. The audiobook narrator for this, A plus, 5 star, 20 stars. He's
Really?
incredible. His name's Samuel Rukin, and he's done an incredible job. I love this series so much. So the first book is all the world building. It starts from him as a kid. He's not really, I guess he is a kid. As a kid,
Hmm.
basically, in this world, the humans have evolved. And the people on top, the people in charge of everything, they're called Palatines. Roman stuff, you know? They're called Palatines. And they're basically they you're not born anymore when you're that high in society. You're thrown in a vat with DNA, and you're basically the epitome of like amazing like human superhuman, right?
Whoa, okay.
And in this world, they had issues with AI in the past. They don't bother with any of that. Okay.
Hmm.
So the sentence it's like so when I say there's like very little romance, there's very little romance. And that's why I feel like you wouldn't like it.
Hmm.
But I think if you can look past that, Ari, I think you would enjoy this time because literally every book, it's just it's more than just a story because he's also examining himself and his past actions. So it's like he's trying to keep it together while recounting all these horrible things that have happened to him and that have happened to the universe. And Palatines, they live for a long time. So he already knows he's gonna live in unless he's killed, he's gonna live for 1,000 plus years. That's how long Palatines live for. So when you're the peasant, you have like a normal lifespan.
Okay.
But when you're a Palatine, you live for 1,000 years. And that's the top of the top, right?
Those are the ones grown in a
That.
vat. Okay.
And you have to get like approved by a council in order to have a child. Like it's crazy.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it starts when he's a kid, and every book is like an escalation. Him being a kid, being like happy-go-lucky, like I can do what I want. I have all these like naive, I guess, hopes for the
Hmm.
universe, and they don't end up panning out. And after I read in January, I read 5 books like that. And these are not short books. These are long books because one of the audiobooks was 45 hours. So, no. And when I
Wow.
say I could not do anything else until I was done.
What in the world?
Yeah.
Wow.
And this, it's not just like a world. It's not just a solar system. It's half the fucking galaxy we're covering. And the consequences of time are so crazy in this book. Have you seen Interstellar?
Yes.
Okay, so you know how they went on that planet, and that planet was like, oh, 1 hour on this planet's like a couple years, right?
Hmm.
It's sort of the same issue. Basically, in order to get from planet to planet, it takes years. So they have to go to sleep. So, in order to extend people's lives, going from one planet to the other, they'll sleep for like 80 years and come out, and then a whole bunch of shit will have happened that they have to like figure out what's going on, right?
Hmm.
Not crazy. So it's like on top of just being present for certain events, it's the time to get to certain places. It's the time it takes. Like you could be talking to someone here, you'll take the time to go here. By time you come back, they're dead. So, and you have to deal with someone else. So it's like
What in the world?
yeah,
Okay.
so it's like it's Hadrian's story. It's his life. And you're following him through this really chaotic period where basically all the humans, when they find alien species, they enslave them, right?
Hmm.
new alien species comes around called the Ceruleans. Ceruleans. Big, creepy white dudes. Like
Ooh,
when I say white, I mean like pale, like pasty white. Like not like
right,
white,
right.
but like
Like
like a
ghostly,
like your
like
walls.
walls, like, like white.
That type of white, basically.
Okay.
And they got long fingers and they're very tall and they're really creepy. And
Mm-mm.
they basically started building world ships. So when these world ships get into the orbit of a planet, they cause tidal waves and like seismic activity because they're as big as a moon. And the second, you know how the moon messes with like the tides and the earthquakes. The
Yeah.
second the moon shows up where there isn't supposed to be, suddenly there's earthquakes and shit. So you're
Oh,
fighting a moon from invading you, and also they're trying to eat everybody. They're literally trying to
it's
eat the humans.
terrifying.
So every book is just an escalation. He starts from being naive, trying to figure out his place, escaping his father because his father's an asshole, gets caught up in all this stuff, and ends up making it to the point where they find out that there are these beings that have built something that nobody knows who they are, but they find out that these Cerulean people worship them. And in order to figure out how to get these people to stop killing them, they have to go super far to the other end of the freaking galaxy in order to figure out where these people come from or to see if they can even like meet with them to begin with.
Yeah.
And there's all these different things. There are people that are trying to extend their lives even though they've already lived for thousands of years. There are people who are trying to just get by. There are people who are just trying to help figure out how to stop a war that's been going on for almost I think the war goes on for at least 1,000 years within the books.
Holy.
Right? So
Oh.
everybody here has like a pretty long life, or it's
Mhm.
extended by the space travel. So I feel these books, they're incredible. They like they examine his soul, they examine the other people around him, and on top of that, there are novellas, which I didn't find out until later on. So basically, I finished the books in February.
Mhm.
The sixth or seventh book, I don't remember, came out in April, and then I realized there were novellas, so I read the novellas first, and then I went and read the sixth book. Every single book has just gotten better in a different way. It's
Wow.
like the first book is all the world building. The second book is like, I don't even know how to explain this to you. The second book's just amazing. The third book just gets even better. And it's like, you're not just talking about life, you're talking about death, you're talking about the consequences of actions across the span of a century of life, you know, not a century,
Yeah.
a fucking millennia of life. So I just think this is just it's one of my favorite series. I know there's at least one more book.
Okay. Yeah, they're not all out. He's
Yeah.
still
And after 6 books, we haven't gotten to the part where he became Sun Eater yet. It's getting there, but he hasn't eaten the sun yet.
so he's it's leading up to him eating another son.
When I say eating sun, he just like explodes it basically, and then a planet dies.
Oh, okay, okay.
A whole bunch of people on it.
So this
That's
is
why he
all
was nicknamed Sun Eater.
wait, okay, so this is all
And
leading
myth,
to when
religion, and like we got the scariest religion people. Like it's scary because they're constantly trying to kill him because he's like making a name for himself and like disrupting their like practice. It's crazy.
that's pretty okay. So Sun Eater, this is memoir written. So then it's all leading up to to him blowing up the sun, this
Yeah.
one sun.
Or it's leading up to wherever he's writing from when he mentions where he's writing from and like how like he when he's read I don't remember which book it's in, but at
Yeah.
some point he's like, this we're heading to this planet and this is where I'm writing from now. And I'm
Right.
like,
Okay.
oh, but he's not old enough yet. So that means he has to go and come back, right?
Hmm.
So it's like you're getting like pieces of things as he's writing it, but you
Okay.
it's like bias. So you don't know if you're actually
Ooh.
getting the truth of everything, you know?
That's interesting. Okay.
Literally one of the best series ever. It's I would read it again in a heartbeat. Like it's so good.
Like, is this something you like one of those books that you think about every day? Or like
Yeah, so like you know how people say, "Oh, how often do you think about the Roman Empire?" This is what I think about.
this
I think
is your
about this book
fault.
a lot. I think about this book a lot. Also, I think it's a requirement to read Red Rising first if you're not
Oh,
used to an epic fantasy or a space opera.
right.
Because Red Rising, and I don't think they're super comparable, these two. I think there's like only one like line of comparison besides them
Right.
taking place in space. But
Okay.
um the reason why I say read Red Rising first is because Red Rising only takes place in the solar system. And this book, you're dealing with a shit ton of planets. Like a lot of planets and a lot of different subspecies of humans.
Okay.
So, like keeping track of everything can get really overwhelming if you're just jumping from like a romantasy. If you're jumping from
Right.
Bride to Empire of Silence, you're gonna have a really hard time.
Right.
Have
Okay.
a really hard time.
So
So
Red Rising
I would
first.
say Red Rising first is a requirement,
Mm-hmm.
as a prerequisite.
And prerequisite.
Empire of Silence.
Okay.
Both are amazing. I haven't really talked about Red Rising to you in a minute, but
Okay, yeah.
Red Rising is amazing in a completely different way.
Okay. Remind me Red Rising plotline, storyline thing. I forgot.
Red Rising, the plot, I guess the first book is like the least strongest,
Hmm.
but it's enough to get you to want to read the second and the third
Okay.
and the fourth and the fifth and the sixth. But
Oh my.
so Red Rising, there's only one more left, as far as I know. He's currently writing it. There are six out. Six? I think there are
Wow.
six out. Yeah, there are six out. Okay. No novellas. First book is compared a lot to the Hunger Games, which I understand.
Okay.
There's basically like a big dangerous game. Kids are killing each other,
Boy. Okay.
but it's space.
Whoa. Okay.
Um, Still a really good read. I love the first three books, like on its own a lot, and I think they can stand alone if for some reason you don't want to continue, because the second you get to the fourth book, it's like a 10-15 year time jump. And I was like, oh, I think he thought he was gonna stop here, but then he didn't.
Totally. Okay.
So once it continues, the battles are insane because it's like you think the way he described about, and the same thing with Empire Science, the way they describe about these have long battle scenes, especially Empire Science. They have really, really long battle scenes, very descriptive and very like putting you into it. So
Okay.
it's kind of like you're like tiptoeing around with them, right? And the battle scenes in um Red Rising are more in space than they are. They're more in space than they are on like a ground
Okay.
with their feet.
Wait, so they're okay, so they're in like spaceships or
Yeah, they have spaceships.
okay.
There are some battles on the ground, but like I said, everything takes place in the solar system, so it's a
Hmm.
little more easier to follow. Starts on Mars. Darrow of Lycos, he's from Mars. It's basically a classist society. You're born into a color. He was born into the lowest color, and basically the highest color, superhuman, like crazy, like. And when you're the lowest color, he basically gets recruited by the resistance, and they're like, we need you to infiltrate the school of these top people, the Golds,
Okay.
right? And the school of the top people, in order to fit in, he has to get biologically altered because the Reds are like, think of like the lankiest, skinniest, like malnourished people, right? And then think of like Captain America for the Golds,
Okay.
but more self-righteous and kind of villainous.
Okay. Okay.
right? And there's a lot of them.
Okay.
So basically, he goes through whole procedure and he infiltrates this school and he gets thrown into basically a Hunger Games-esque game where they're killing each other.
Okay.
They're not supposed to be, but they are.
Of course.
And basically the whole first three books are him trying to stay undercover and not get caught, but
Okay.
also like participating in the resistance within the lines of the golds.
Okay.
Yeah, so many things happen. It's so good. The way Pierce Brown writes is like so epic. Like, let me find a line to read you.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Is it hard to get into? Like,
No,
oh, really? Okay. Like, it's
I didn't
not,
find it hard to get into at all.
do you feel like there was anything confusing in the beginning of like trying to grasp the world or anything? No.
No, it was relatively easy for me to get into.
Oh, good. Okay.
Okay, some lines from Darrow. They're all separate lines,
Okay.
not all in the same paragraph. I would have lived in peace, but my enemies brought me to war. Um, I'm a sheep wearing wolf's clothing in a pack of wolves.
Ooh.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am, you deviant bitch. Here I bloody am, the motherfucking consequence.
Oh no.
And also, this narrator, Tim Gerard, the narrator for the audiobook, Tim Gerard, one of the best narrators ever. Also, literally one of the best narrators ever. He does so many accents. And when he gets to the fourth book, they start including other narrators. And then
Mm-hmm.
they go back to just him like a book or two later because he's so good. So it's like they tried to include other people, but then he was like, no, this guy's too good. We just
Too
gotta
much.
stick with him. So
Yeah.
amazing, amazing.
Wow.
One of the best narrators I've ever read. Well, let me read another quote. As a mob, they were a single organism. In fear, they divide. In death, they become lonely as I weave them into my twitching meat carpet.
Ew.
Crazy, right?
Ooh, cool though.
These books have the best quotes. But yeah, I just love sci-fis.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
sci-fi is so good. And I really wish there were more good ones. And I haven't read, so I watched a show called The Expanse, which we can talk about more later. But
Expand.
The Expanse, yeah, and it's a book series before.
Okay.
And I'm not sure which one people like better, but the show was really good on Amazon. They did like 6 seasons.
Okay.
It was really good. And that's what was like that Interstellar, The Martian, all these things like make me want to like get into like more spacey like stuff. And
Ooh.
I want to read more space-based books because
Yeah,
I
okay.
also think that both Empire of Silence and Red Rising are going to become like classics in like a decade, you know?
Okay,
I
yeah.
think this is just like the beginning for both of them. There's a
Interesting.
reason that they're both very, very popular.
Tell me the reason. Because they're just really good. They're just
They're just good.
yeah. Did they and they you found out about them through TikTok?
Yeah, so Red Rising has been recommended on like everything. Like you've probably seen recommendations for Red Rising. Like
I
Red
have.
Rising always gets recommended.
Yeah.
Empire of Silence was one that got recommended to me from a TikTok in January.
Okay.
Don't remember. I think they also read the first line, the first paragraph, and that
Okay.
made me like get it on hold on Libby,
Hmm.
wait for it. And then when I started reading it, I was like, holy crap, I have done something amazing.
I've stumbled upon greatness.
Stumbled upon greatness. But yeah, like I said, Red Rising, it's only the solar system. All of the planets in the solar system are like occupied by humans.
Of
And
course.
in Empire of Silence, it's like every planet in every solar system for half the galaxy. And there's a lot of solar system, and there's no map. Like there's no map, and it's hard. And
Okay.
I get that it's hard to make a space map.
Yeah.
I get that
Is
that's difficult, but
there
it's really
index?
hard to follow
Yeah.
the book.
Is there no index or anything? Which it's not as
Hey,
easy to
I
read.
read them as audiobooks, so I don't know.
That's right.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
a map, but I don't actually know because I don't have the paperbacks.
That's fair. Okay, so that one, you said Red Rising wasn't as hard to like grasp. Do you
Mm-mm.
feel like Sun Eater was like a little confusing, a little harder to grasp?
So I'd say from somebody coming from Bride, if you went straight to Suneater, you would have a hard time. I think,
Mhm.
and if anybody in general is coming from any sort of
Romantic.
romantasy, if you've never read a high fantasy before, or if you've only read like one high fantasy, still read Red Rising first because I feel like it's a good basis to get you
Mhm.
to like grasp a whole bunch of names of cities and people
Right.
so that you and like planets and because it's not just the top of Mars, it's underneath Mars too. Yeah,
No.
people are living like on top and under. So it's like, and there are people just living on the moon, and like, there's a lot of people, okay?
Hey,
And
lot.
yeah, lots of great, amazing, epic battle scenes. And I just think that everybody should read those two series.
Okay. Okay. I honestly think I will read them. I don't know if I'll read them now, but I will read them
Okay.
because you said they took over your life and I,
Oh,
I need to have I need to have the time.
mhm.
I think like traveling or cabin or something or just like break and I'll start reading. Yeah. Because I'm coming from the most high fantasy I've read was Sarah J. Maas. And that's
Yeah,
where my fantasy goes.
yeah, I think Sarah J. Maas doesn't count as like a high fantasy or epic fantasy.
I yeah, I would I
I feel like it's relatively easy to read, but not as easy as like Fourth Wing, you know?
exactly like a
Yeah.
step up, but this would be new territory for
Yeah.
me.
And like
Yeah.
I said, the romance, not really there,
Not there?
but
Fine.
characters that you're gonna love, authors you're not gonna trust. You just know where the story's gonna go. Like it's
Ooh.
incredible. And I highly, highly recommend to everybody
Okay.
those two series.
Okay. Well, you convinced me, so
I hope I convinced everyone.
wow.
Yeah, I'm tired of talking.
Yeah.
Anyways, um, this is the end of the fantasy deck for this episode. All right, tell them what you got.
Oh, shoot. Here we go. Okay. I make music and you can find me on all music streaming platforms under Ariana Miri. And I'm on TikTok, Ariana Miri underscore, and then Instagram, Ariana underscore Miri. Feel free to join, listen if you'd like.
Oh yeah. Hey,
Hell yeah.
wanna follow me? Follow me at all that Chelsea for TikTok and Instagram. And if you want a trip planned for you, go to allthatchelseatravels.com. I'm a travel planner. I'll plan your trip for you. You'll have an amazing time. I promise.
It's true. She's great.
Yeah, but
Cat booty. Ooh,
so cute.
so cute. Little Princey.
Oh yeah.
And the Fantasy Nook podcast.
Woo. That's it.
Woo.
Sayonara.
Addicted to the bottom feeders. I'm hurting underneath the surface. It's getting dark behind the curtains. They tear you down without a reason. To chew you up and spit you out. 'Cause they know that I'm a people pleaser. I know you all know what I'm talking about. make it up